Hey everyone, welcome. So we're going to be talking about the Canadian Caregiver Program or the pilot program that is scheduled to be open on March 31st, 2025, and that's literally next month. So we're having a little webinar here tonight where persons can come and speak, voice their concerns, any questions that they have with regards to this caregiver program that they have opened. Let me wait for some more persons to come on live. Welcome to anyone that is joining. We're having a webinar tonight where we can talk about the Caregiver Program. So if you're joining from anywhere across the world, I want you to drop where you're joining from, your country, and just give a thumbs up or press the like button just to notify that you're here. Whichever your country you're joining from, you can drop it in the chat below. We're having a discussion tonight about the Caregiver Pilot Program that is scheduled to be opened next month, March 31st, 2025. I know I already did a video about it already, but I do see some persons mentioning questions, comments, and they want to know information about what this program is actually about and ways and means that they can go about it. So, hi, Shamla. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. Shamla, tell me which country you're joining from. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So Shamla commented, hi, big ups to Shamla. We want to know which country you're coming from. India, all the way from India. Nice to have you. I guess you heard my accent already. I'm from Jamaica. Nice to have you, Shamla. So we're discussing the caregiver pilot program that I did mention on my page about, and this is a program for caregivers all across the world and those that are in Canada. To anybody else that is joining, please just say hi in the comment section or the chat section and drop the country that you're joining from. And then we will start. What time is it in India right now, Shamla? All right, so Shamla is asking about the processing time after submitting the application. I think I have that question on my page once. And when I checked the government website, it did state that I think processing time will be dependent on how basically how quickly you process your documents and upload them to the system, but they will update you. They have a system in place that they will send out emails to you and update you on that once the processing time, once you put every document that is required of them in their portal. And they will send out updates. I think that they're very organized when I read their system, and it's the IRC website, which is for Canada's immigration stream. There, you can send emails to them. You can even reach out or even call them with regards to the application process. So it's 7:08 a.m. in India. So in my neck of the woods, it's 8:30 p.m. So it's night and day. So thank you for joining, Shamla, and I hope I answered your questions. So processing time will be dependent if all your documents that you've sent in are correct and up to date. And I do know that they mention on the system that if you have submitted documents and they are not meeting the requirements, that your application will be put on pause for that until everything is set in order. I do see we have another person on the live. Please drop your country where you're from so that we can talk. And we're talking about the Caregiver Pilot Program. Any questions that you have? So I think last year I did share this on my page that Canada had a pilot program for caregivers. So when I actually found out about it, it was closed because they oversubscribed. A lot of persons applied. Now I did make mention of this last year, so now it is opened again, and it's a program that you have to adequately prepare for. It can't be that you just heard about it January or February and then you're ready to apply in March. You have to have all your papers, your documentation in order. We talk about the requirements already. So you must be a caregiver. Either you have experience or you're getting experience. They have two categories, one for 6 months or 6 months or more that you're working from before with regards to that. After experience, you need to also do IELTS. IELTS is a big English exam that you have to take. With the IELTS, it's for anybody that is migrating, whether to go to school or to study or just to work in another country. Many of these first world countries require you to have the IELTS. Now, you can take the IELTS online, they say, or in person, and the fees differ based on where you're located. So we have Shamla here in India. So her fee is going to be different from if I'm in Jamaica right now, my fee is going to be different. And you have different centers where you can go and take the IELTS. Now, I implore people that if you're planning to migrate, research the countries and their requirements for you to come into the country. So the IELTS will be something that you should have had before, because a lot of persons will be applying for it. You have appointments, and probably appointment time will be way out and even passes the deadline that the pilot program is looking for. There are different scores with regards to the IELTS that you have to take to pass, and it's not a walk in the park. I know a lot of nurses have to take the IELTS. I didn't take the IELTS based on the company that I went with, but other persons in other countries had to take it. It's an English exam, just to say that even if English is your first language, it is just saying that you're qualified and you can speak in that language. So it's a good qualified exam to take, but it's not easy, and you have to be you have to prepare for that exam. So anybody else that is here, just drop in the chat where you're from, the country where you're from, and we can ask questions and join in the comment section. So any other questions that you have with regards to the program? Now, I must say to you guys that this program is created for individuals who are caregivers and to give caregivers permanent residency. So once you enter the country, you will get permanent residency and you're actually a caregiver, right? However, it's going to be a competitive application process. You're not only just competing with individuals that are already in Canada that want permanent residence, but you're also competing with persons outside in different countries all across the world. So you see how competitive that this will actually be. So Shamla is asking what may be the required experience. So their experience is that they want you to have experience in terms of caregiving. So have experience in taking care of either the elderly, children, or anything that would classify as a caregiver. Now, there are different levels of the experience. Whether you've been doing this for 6 months or less means that you're working on getting experience, or you are already a caregiver for more than a year or two. So they have two different categories. So whichever category that applies to you, you can apply to that. And that's the level of experience that they ask for. For Shamla, how long have you been a caregiver? And it doesn't matter whether you're 6 months or whether you have more than 6 months. So they have two different categories. So as stated before, very competitive. You have persons already. So Shamla said she has 10 months experience. So that's pretty good. And do you also have the IELTS? So you need your experience, you need the IELTS, and also this program is not free. There are application fees that you have to pay in terms of processing that application and also permanent residency. Not to mention, if you're taking your spouse and your family, you have to pay for them. So there are application fees for that. So with regards to this, I always say to persons that if you're going to migrate, you cannot get up one day and say, oh, I want to go to Canada, I wanted to go to UK. You have to make adequate plans and preparation. And this starts like a year or two from before. It takes money to migrate. Even if you're doing like a visa sponsorship where the employer is paying for you, you still have to find money to pay your fees, do your exams, get your documentation. You still have to find money when you're ready to move. Even if your plane ticket is going to be paid for, that's another thing you have to look at too. Who's going to pay my plane ticket? You have different bills that you pay back home. You have to look at all of those stuff that you have to cover yourself. And then when you migrate to these countries, where are you going to get money? Because initially when you start work, some persons in different countries or employers, they have a bi-weekly payment plan or weekly or at the end of a month. So you need money to cover yourself. So adequate planning and preparation, whether you're a nurse, caregiver, any field that you're going into, you need to have money put aside for migration. No, we talked about the IELTS, that the IELTS is needed. You also need your experience, the application fee, and there's application fee. And the big thing that the pilot program asks for is that you must have a job offer. This job offer is from somebody or an employer who has an organization within Canada and can give you some form of employment, right? So where can you find these job offers? You can look at nursing homes, what you call long-term care facilities, or you have persons who do nannies, caregivers. Those are where you can find your job offers from. So once again, this is why I say that this program is extremely competitive, because persons who are already in Canada who want permanent residency will have access, to be on the ground, to find job offers, and to look inside Canada to see where they can get a job offer. And they, for me, in my opinion, will be at an advantage than persons who are already on the outside and looking for an opportunity. So this is something that you have to do adequate planning and preparation for. I see somebody else just joined the chat, and if you're joining, please drop the country that you're from and we can speak and we can answer questions that apply to you if you're interested in applying for this program. So even though you hear opportunities and it's a pilot program, you have to do adequate assessment, adequate planning to see if this will work out for me. Now, this is the second year that they are running this pilot program. So once again, once it opens March 31st, it will be open again, I think, for the next following year. So even if this cycle misses you, you can still try again. Make sure you have your IELTS, make sure you have money put aside, make sure you have that experience that is needed, and make sure you can find that job offer. Or look for agencies that are inside Canada that can offer this opportunity. I think it's a wonderful program, a great opportunity. Many a times you hear opportunities for nurses, so this is an opportunity for persons who are not living in Canada and have caregiving experience. Some persons may ask, why did they start a program like this? I always say that we're having aging population across the entire world. Many healthcare systems are struggling. Persons are living longer. You need assistance in terms of the elderly and caregiving. So this is some way of offsetting the stressors that they're having with healthcare in their home country. Hopefully, other countries may copy from this pilot program and start in other countries too. So any other questions that you have, you can press the like button also, guys. And I want persons to drop the country that you're from so that we can answer questions. Shamla says she has 10 months experience. And are you applying for this program for this cycle, Shamla, or are you going to wait it out? Because it's not a program where you can just get up and say, oh, I'm going to apply today. As we said before, you need that IELTS. You need the application fee. The next thing that they talk about is that you need to have a Canadian high school diploma. And if you don't, there are organizations that they listed where you can go and get your transcript verified. So you have different organizations that they listed. One that I saw that I'm familiar with was WES, World Education Services. Very straightforward, pretty good. You go on their system, you can even call them. Once when I applied with them to get transcript verified from back home in my home country, I just call them for clarification if you're not understanding. They have fees, and I think the fees are applicable based on the country. So we have Shamla in India, they'll charge you a fee based from India. If you're from Caribbean, they charge you a fee from that. You're in the US, they charge you a fee for that. So based on that, you then submit your transcript or you submit your diploma, which you have, and they will determine if that diploma matches that of Canada. And those are the requirements and the eligibility for applying. Now, with regards to age, they did not list in terms of what are the age requirements. No age was listed, but you have the opportunity to take your family or your family, including children, spouse, with you for this program. And I said before, the program requires adequate planning, adequate preparation. Can't get up today, I'm going to apply for this. You have to have everything in order and laid out before you put everything on the system. And not to mention the cost. It costs. There are application fees, but the application fees that I listed on my YouTube page previously were application fees from last year. So let's see what the application fees will be. A lot of persons will be waiting for this program, waiting for it to open. Shamla asks, what is the successful rate of this visa? I'm not sure. I'm trying to understand your question in terms of the success rate. I know they opened the program last year. I haven't seen anybody that applied that may have been successful with it, but you remember you have persons that are applying from outside Canada and those from inside Canada. So you may have success rate from persons who are in Canada already or persons from outside. Remember, they said they opened it last year, then they closed the program because it was oversubscribed. So you can imagine. So I think they probably have a good success rate with this, but it's even more at an advantage when I say for persons who are already in Canada. They are already in Canada. They can know where to get that job offer from. Already have the IELTS, already all of those, or even outside of Canada. So it's a pilot program created by the government, which allows individuals, instead of using an agency, a third party, you're doing it yourself. So you don't need anybody else to assist you. You just simply go on their website, follow the instructions, read, upload the documents, and just upload the documents, pay the application fee, and then wait and just keep checking with your emails to make sure everything is good and wait until you're processed. And just make sure you have all documents that are available and they are ready. All right, so I want to know, Shamla, so are you applying for this program? I asked this question already. If you're going to apply for this program, or are you going to wait until another cycle? Now, there may be another cycle, and I encourage you, if you want to apply for this program, start preparing from now. Start preparing from now. If you don't have the IELTS, consider the fees to get your IELTS. You have the experience already. Look at the application fee. Start getting that money together, having that application fee ready before the pilot program opens again. So you realize that they do have a timeline, and this is something that you can look at. So Shamla says she's interested to join to do the program. You can go for it. You can keep us posted too, Shamla, if you're successful also, and the feedback. Remember, if you even apply to the program and you're having difficulties and you need help, you can reach out to them because they have their numbers, emails, very responsive, and you can send an email to them with regards to information. Now, remember, I posted this last year and we missed it, and this was January. Now they moved the application time to March, so you can see that there is an actual time frame. So if it misses you this trip, you can start planning to say that by January, either February or March next year, they're going to open this program again. And it is a legitimate program, credible, because it's a government that is doing, and it's a pilot program. And if they did a pilot last year, remember you do pilot programs, when you're testing something to see the feedback you get from it and to see how best you can make it better. And they're doing it again. So this is something that you're looking at to be long-term or permanent. And it's a great opportunity. And nothing is wrong if you see something and you miss the deadline. You can apply again for next year and get that opportunity that you're seeking for. Any further questions? So the application fees that they listed for last year, I had written them down. So there is an application fee, 635 Canadian dollars. So if you're outside of Canada, convert that to how much you need for based on the home country that you're coming from, and try saving that money. You also have a PR fee, which is your permanent residency fee. Hold on. Permanent residency fee, $575. Total, that if you total that, that's 1,210, and that's what I got from their site. All information is available on their site if you want to do your research and do fact checking also. Now, they do have the same fees if you're bringing family, if you're bringing your spouse. Now, I do, when I looked at it, I do realize that the partner that you bring, you can do common law, or you can do if you're married already. So there's an opportunity for that. And if you're bringing a dependent, that fee is like $175. So you just need to make sure you have everything that you need, all the documentation, because I said it's going to be a competitive program. Extremely competitive. It's not something that you can take lightly. And I said before, when migrating, you cannot just get up one day and say, oh, I'm going to Canada today. I am going to UK tomorrow. No, you have to do proper planning and preparation. So Shamla asks, my cousin has got previous study refusal 2 times because of a low IELTS score. Can she apply for this? She has 6 months experience. Great question. So the IELTS score is very important. If you're not meeting that score, it's a possibility that you're likely to be declined from it. You have to get scored a proper score. And I think the score varies on various countries. So you need to know what is the passing rate that I need to get. And if they have a passing rate, that is the rate that you have to be either above or at the baseline that is accepted. Now, if her score is lower than what is required, I would chances are may not be accepted for that. You have to have a great score. My light went out. I know the scores may differ. Scores may possibly differ on the country. Remember, I didn't do the IELTS, so I don't know much about it. But that score is very important. I had friends who did the IELTS and complained that it was hard. So you may need to make sure that you have an adequate score when doing that exam. Let me just get another light. So I would encourage her to find out what's the passing score. And I think it was a 6 or a 7. You need to have a great score. If the score is not as what is required, I don't think you'll be accepted for the program. Just like with any test that you do, if they have a passing score and you're below the passing score, you won't be accepted. So the IELTS is very important. I see other persons coming in. Drop the country that you're from. Just type in the comment section the country that you're from and we can answer questions. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. So when she applied with the eligibility required, does the previous refusal affect this visa? That's a great question. However, if she did apply for something else and her score was low, if she does apply again, she can update the system. Even if she applies, I think based on the eligibility required here, she would be submitting documentation that states, hey, this is my new IELTS score. So she would be eligible for this program. All right. So if she had a previous score before, just like I can give an example, when nurses take the NCLEX, if they pass one time and they go again, they pass and they have a good score, that the previous score that they have does not affect them. So if you take it over, you should be good and you'll be eligible to apply. She also has 6 months experience. That is good also. 6 months experience. They have 2 categories, 6 months or greater than 6 months. All right. I see. I don't want to badger your name. Posika. Posika says, I am working as a guest attendant in Canada. Am I eligible to apply for this program? My question that is the guest attendant role eligible to apply for this pilot program? So the pilot program is for caregivers. So if you have any form of experience with being a caregiver, that is the requirement. So you must have some form of experience, whether working with the elderly, being a caregiver, to make you eligible for this program. All right. And you must have at least a reference that persons can call to say, hey, they worked with me or worked with me at this institution. So that's the eligibility criteria for this. So if you have any form of experience with being a caregiver, or the next eligibility for, let me answer POSIC, is that you must have experience working as a caregiver. You must have at least 6 months or greater than 6 months experience. You need an IELTS. Let me know if you have the IELTS already. You need that. English exam is required also. And you also need to have that of a Canadian high school diploma. So if you have all of those are the criteria for the pilot program in Canada. And if you're just joining, the pilot program is stated to be open on March 31st of this year. Last year, they did it in January. And when I heard about it, they closed it. Like when I saw it, it was still January and they closed within 2 to 3 days because it was oversubscribed. So for those joining, this is why I'm saying that this pilot program is not just a walk in the park. It's going to be an extremely competitive program. Here we have POSICA that is already in Canada, and that's what I spoke about. You're going to have persons that are in Canada already wanting permanent residency. And if you're outside of Canada, you're not only competing with all the countries across the world that are looking to go to Canada, you're also competing with persons who are already in Canada. And I have said it before, based on my opinion, that persons who have the eligibility requirements, they will be at an added advantage, because you also need a job offer. You're going to need a job offer to state that this person is going to be employed. This is where you're going to be working once you have that, once you get to Canada or you're in Canada. How many persons or employers are going to be willing to state that they're going to give you a job offer and be willing to wait on you until this pilot program is open? So persons who are already in Canada have a physical address there, to me, will have an added advantage too. So you have to make sure that when you're applying for this program, that it's going to benefit you in the long run and that you're going to be successful with it. Now, we did, for POSICA, we did speak about some places where you can get job offers, such as long-term care facilities, nursing homes that do caregiving. You can look at that. You can also look at those places that employs nannies, caregivers. And I did have agency that I reached out to, and I asked them, like, do you guys have job offers for individuals who are going to apply for the home care provider program or the caregiver program? And they said yes, that they're waiting until the government releases this program and opens this program, and they will then submit requirements for the job offers. There are a lot of eligibility requirements with regards to this, and I'm going to be posting it on my YouTube page closer down to the date or a bit earlier, just to let persons be aware that this is where they can also go to get a job offer. So POSICA said, I'm working in a retirement home as a guest attendant and also have personal support worker license. So my question is, am I eligible to apply as a guest attendant? So POSICA, I think you'll be eligible since you have the personal support worker license. If you're working in that area and have experience, you're eligible to apply with the personal support worker. Personal support worker is basically what you call caregivers too in Canada, so you can apply for that. So you'll apply with your license as a PSW worker, so you'll be eligible for that, not the guest attendant. Remember, they're looking for caregivers, so personal support worker, you can apply under that category. How many years of experience do you have, POSICA? Do you have 6 months or more than 6 months for your experience? So Shamna also asked a question, can you guess the full eligibility required, as they have not yet announced? No, they have not yet. So the program is going to be open on March 31st, right? So that's the day when you can start applying for the program, submitting your documents. The eligibility criteria is 1, the experience that we talk about. You must have the job offer. The next thing that you must have is a Canadian high school diploma. If you're not in Canada and don't have the high school diploma, you can get your transcript or your diploma verified through a certifying agency, which they recognize. Once you do that, the agency will then determine, and you pay that fee, they will determine if your high school that you did outside of Canada matches that of Canada. And then you have the option for them to send you that document, or you can keep it on your person in that portal that they have with West, and then you upload it to the system. And then another eligibility is that you must have that application fee. Now, I did quote some application fees that I did see on their site, and I think this was from last year or the year for this year. The application fee is $635. The PR fee is $575. Put that together, gives you a total of 1,210 Canadian dollars. And if you're going to take your spouse or your partner with you, they have an application fee also of $635. PR fee is $575. If you're taking your dependents, such as your children, per child, it is $175. So it's application fee, high school diploma, your IELTS also, and that job offer. And that is the full eligibility. So in this process right now, you should be getting all your documents together. And if the program is going to be open on March 31st, say for instance, you get up by 5 a.m. and you see that that portal is open, you then submit all your documents to SAME. All right, so you should have all your documents already and getting ready for this program. So Pasika, let me know if I answered your question, and Shamla, let me know if I answered your question. So if you're a personal support worker, you're eligible to apply for this also. And I just gave Shamla all the eligibility. So Pasika is already in Canada and she's looking to apply for this program. So let me know if I answered all your questions. So it shouldn't be a case you're going to wait on March 31st to start looking for all the documents, getting your IELTS. If you have not already have the IELTS, you should have everything laid out already and you're just waiting until that portal opens. Remember, they opened it last year and they had to close it within the space of 1 to 2 days or a week because so many persons already applied. And don't worry if you miss this program because it's a pilot. And you know, when they're doing pilot is something that they're testing to see if this is something that they can do in the long run. And they did state that they're trying to make it permanent. So from this, they did a first pilot program last year. They're doing checking again, looking at where they probably the positives and the negatives from this, and now implementing another one. And I also stated earlier, look at the time frame. You see, they opened this in January, now it's in March. So you have an idea to work with that. If this misses me, I can apply again for next year, January, next year, March. So it's always in that first couple of months of the year that you can start applying. All right, if you have any other questions, let me know. So this is a great opportunity to apply. And I tell you guys, it's going to be a competitive program. You have a lot of persons all across the world that is applying. If you miss the program, don't worry. Apply again for the program for next year. All right. And this is a great opportunity for those who are already in the field doing caregiving with a personal support worker, and you're looking for that opportunity to have a permanent residency in Canada, either for yourself and for your family. Let me know if you have any other questions. Let me know if you guys are understanding and you got everything already. You can just drop yes in the comment section. So for Pasika and Shamla, if I answered your question, you can just say yes in the comment section that you are clear on everything that we have discussed. All right, so thank you very much, Shamla says. Thank you also for tuning in. Pasika, let me know if I answered your question. Let me know if I'm answering your question correct, if I'm calling your name correctly. I don't want to be badgering your name. So let me know if Pasika, let me know if I answered your question. All right, Shamla says, God bless you. God bless you too. I hope you guys are successful and you have everything already. Shamla, do you have the IELTS already? Because you seem like you have everything already. For Pasika, let me know if I have answered all your questions. So I hope you guys are successful in this, and for any other person that is watching, once again, if you miss the program, it's another opportunity for you to start preparing, because I remember I posted another video last year, so we should have been getting that IELTS. So should have been looking, to make sure we have that transcript or that high school diploma verified. So if you have gotten everything already and you're just waiting, good for you. However, if you miss this opportunity, you can apply again. All right, it's not the end of the road, so you can actually apply again. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, I think we've answered everything already and discussed everything. We talked about the program and that it's going to be very competitive. So you need to make sure that you have passed that IELTS, and remember to study. You have to study for that IELTS. I think they do reading and listening for that, and you have to have very good scores. You have to pass. You have to make sure you know what is the pass score. And if you took it once and you did not pass, you can go back again and take it over. Failure is not final, okay? Keep taking it until you get it. All right. All right. Thank you guys for joining in, and thank you for joining for the Empower. We call ourselves the Empower community, giving you information and opportunities across the world. So we have some more videos to be posted, and I'm going to share that video with regards to a company that states that they're open to getting a job offer to persons who are going to be applying for the Home Support Worker Program or the Caregiver Program. So thank you everyone for joining and listening in, and hope you have a blessed, whether it's like Shamla in India, have a great morning, or me all the way over in the US, which is 8:30 right now, have a great night. And thank you guys for joining. Like this video and share it with your colleagues or friends or anybody that will be interested in seeing. Thank you and bye.